Said I don't know if I've ever been good enough. I'm a little bit rusty and I think my head is caving in. And I don't know if I've ever been really loved by a hand that's touched me, and I feel like something's gonna give. And I'm a little bit angry. Well, this ain't over. No, not here. Not while I still need you around. You don't hold me, we might change it. Yeah, we just might feel good. I wanna push you around. Well, I will, well, I will. I wanna push you down. Well, I will, well, I will. I wanna take you for granted.
Hello vinyl community, today we have an unboxing video for Matchbox 20's Yourself or Someone Like You. One of my favorite albums of the 90s, definitely. Probably one of my favorite American rock albums of all time actually, easily made my top 20 or 30. And I already do have it on CD, right here. In fact, I have two of the other albums which were released at their peak, the late 90s and early 2000s. Debatable whether this one's the best, it's a matter of opinion. I think all three are really, really strong albums, but this was their debut album, Yourself or Someone Like You, and it has just been re-released on vinyl, hence the box that I have right here. It was released on vinyl back in the day when the album was first released in 1996, but it's hard to find, it's very expensive to find an original pressing, because, you know, by the mid-90s, when vinyl was being pressed for an album, it was usually pressed in very limited quantities, and Yourself or Someone Like You is no exception. So really pleased that it's been re-released. I didn't even know actually it was being repressed until I think somebody from the vinyl community posted about it, or posted on Facebook about it, and said it was pretty cheap, and sure enough it was $17 on Amazon, and in fact I only paid $7 because I had a $10 credit through one of my credit cards, so that was kind of cool. So basically I ended up paying $7 for this. So let's take a look, shall we? Yeah. So yeah, Matchbox 20 were formed in 1995 in Florida. 5 members of the band originally. The most famous member by far was Bob Thomas, lead vocals, rhythm guitar, and he wrote almost all of their songs, many of them exclusively. I think he's a very underrated songwriter. I really do. I think yeah, you know, he's not one of the first people you think of when you think of really good modern day songwriters, but for me he's right up there. He's really terrific. But there was also Kyle Cook, another band member, Kyle Cook. He was lead guitar. There was Brian Yale, who played the bass, Paul Doucette, who was on drums, and then finally Adam Gaynor, who he was also on rhythm guitar. He actually left the band in 2005, but he was there for the peak mainstream success. So let's take a look. Here we go. Very cool. Yeah, there we go. Now, I don't think this is a gatefold. Doesn't appear to be. So in that case, I will be leaving the shrink on as much as I can, because you know it's got the nice sticker on it. One thing that catches my eye right away actually is that it says it's a 20th anniversary, which doesn't quite make sense to me because the album was definitely released in 1996, yet here we are in 2017, so it's actually 21 years, so I'm not sure what's up with that. It even says copyright 1996 on the back of it, but you know, unless this was somehow released a year ago and I completely missed it, but I'm pretty sure it's just been released. But this is supposed to be on a like limited edition red vinyl, so maybe it's the red vinyl part that's the recent re-release. I'm not too sure, but yeah, I always like the artwork for this. It's really cool. Actually, the artwork was kind of controversial because the guy depicted on the cover right here, he later sued the band, much later actually, like in 2005, claiming that he didn't know his picture was going to be used on the album cover. He had been like stopped in the street or something by somebody wanting to take a photo. He had said sure, didn't exactly know what the photo was for, but was like okay, and they took his picture. But it's a funny thing because I always thought this was a guy looking through a window, but that seems to maybe not be the case if indeed he was just stopped on the street. So I don't know about that, but yeah. So let's open this up. And here's the back. Very cool. And let's open this up and yeah, well, it's gonna be a little bit careful when opening these, but it's not usually a problem. I usually just a few little taps to get the record to the end. Get a knife, make a very small incision here, and then very carefully. And it's best to do this with a really sharp knife if you can. Otherwise, it's not going to be clean. And the knife is only just barely in here, so it should be okay. Okay, there we go. Shrink still nice and intact. Let's have a look here. Okay, so we've got a insert right here that's kind of cool. Has all the lyrics on the back of it. That's always a nice touch. And I don't know if I've seen this artwork before. I don't know if it probably is in the inlay of the sleeve for the CD version, but yeah, very cool. So here's the record. Should be on red vinyl. Indeed, it is. And yeah, very cool. There it is. And it doesn't appear to be warped, which is good because you know it was delivered by Amazon, but it's been pretty hot here in California. This was actually delivered a few days ago, and it was like 100 degrees, and it was sat outside my front door for I don't know how long. It could have been hours over the weekend when I was out. So you know, it was laid flat. I figured it was probably okay. It's not like it had anything piled on top of it, and indeed it looks good. So yeah, very cool. So let's take a look at the track listing. Okay, because I definitely have some favorites on here. Every song's good. Okay, there isn't a bad song on the album, but there are definitely, like any album, there are some that are better than others. There are some that I like more than others. So track number 1 is Real World, and that was one of the singles released from the album. Actually, there were 5 singles released. That was the 4th one, and it did pretty well. It made number 38 on the Billboard 100, so not too shabby. Track number 2 is Long Day, and that was the first single released from the album, and made number 8 on the US rock charts. Track number 3 is 3 AM. That's probably one of the better known songs, actually, and that was also a big hit. That made number 2 on the US rock charts. Track number 4, probably the most well-known track, which is Push, which you guys already heard. That was playing in the intro to this video. That was the second single released from the album, and made number 1 on the US rock charts, and in fact even just about entered the top 40 in the UK, made number 38. So that's kind of cool. Track number 5 is Girl Like That. Track number 6 is Back to Good. That was the 5th and final single released from the album, made number 24 on the Billboard 100. Track number 7 is Damn. Track number 8 is Argue. Track number 9 is Cody. Track number 10 is Busted. Track 11 is Shame, and track number 12 is Hang. So let's pick what I think are probably the weakest songs on the album. I was never a huge fan of either Argue or Busted. Those are probably my 2 least favorite songs on the album, but they're still good. Like I said, there isn't a bad song on here. They're still good tracks. My favorite songs on the album would definitely be Push, which I just think is an amazing rock song. Hang, which I think is a really underrated song of theirs. It's the beginning of it is just magical. It starts off almost in like mono, and then when it gets to the second verse, you have one verse and then a second verse immediately following it. When it gets to that, it's just it like kicks into stereo, and it's I don't know, I think it's terrific. And let's see if I pick one other favorite song on here. Probably Back to Good, one of the better known songs, but I really like the chorus to that song, so I think it might be Back to Good. Yeah. So yeah, really pleased to get this, and yeah, even if you're paying full price for it, I just happen to have a credit that I was able to apply to it. In fact, I almost didn't get this. I almost went for the 30th anniversary of Hysteria by Def Leppard, because although I have an original pressing of that, it has 1 or 2 little skips in it. So I almost went for it, but it's gone back up in price. It went below $20 on Amazon. Now it's back up to like 23 or something, which is still not bad, but given that it's a double vinyl. But yeah, I'll just wait for it to go back down, and I just couldn't pass this up. It's such a great album on the red vinyl limited edition. Had to have it. So yeah, thank you guys as always for watching. Appreciate all of the feedback, the comments. If any of you guys have the album, please give me your opinion. I have seen 2 or 3 probably people from the VC who have commented on it, and posted videos on it. So please leave your comments. Appreciate everybody who subscribed, and until next time, bye bye.
Well, I wonder what it's like to be the rainmaker. She said it's cold outside. so normal. You just stand there. I could